So then I reached out to him and I was like, bro, you June 22nd? He's like, yeah, we were literally born the same day, same year, 2 hours apart. Crazy, right? And so, because we had been in community together and everything, not knowing we had the same birthday, born 2 hours apart, same year. But man, I met Jamal probably 7 or 8 years ago now. I don't remember, but I remember walking. Jamal shared his story. He was just randomly sharing his story, and I was like, bruh, you have to get out and tell the world about what you're doing. Because most people, as a full-time police officer making millions, plural, millions of dollars, I'm like, there's nobody else doing that. And so at that time, Maul, you'll see when he comes up here, Maul is all macho, all man. So Maul is like, bro, I ain't trying to do nothing that pulls me away and puts me on stage, because he was about that interest income, earning while he sleeps, and sure, which he still is, but the man that God called him to be, the character who he was, as people continue to reach out and pull on him. Obviously, God now has Maul on stages literally across the world, speaking to tens of thousands of people. And his story is so powerful. Born and raised in Chicago, full-time police officer for 20 plus years, and managed to build a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. But also, I think Maul has built 8 or 9. In fact, I may be low on count. He'll correct me because that's Maul. But it's been 8 or 9 multi-million-dollar businesses, but was working as a full-time police officer. So blue collar, according to America's definition, yet he's built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. And so I had to bring Maul in as the first guest of us doing this, because we're trying to help people make that shift from just being an employee, right, to actually being an entrepreneur. And so without further ado, I want to bring up my brother, the amazing 9-to-5 millionaire, Jamal King. Yes, sir. Now, and I'm gonna let Maul flow. I don't want to get in his way. Maul, in fact, literally, I can go sit down if you want me to. You tell me how you want. I was going to interview him, but I want to make sure you share what you feel God has called you to share with the people.
Can you hear me? Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, go ahead. You can interview me.
Okay. Well, the biggest man, I want you to kind of walk people through the story.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, just the journey of when. I think what's important is when you decided that you wanted to build and create the life that you now live on a daily basis. Like, what was the impetus for that for you, considering you grew up in a family where everybody was a police officer? Mom, dad, brothers. I think did I see Tommy?
Yeah, my brother in the back of the room.
Man, yeah. Tommy, what's up, brother?
Yeah, so for all y'all that don't know, my name is Kemal. They call me the 9-to-5 millionaire. And I'm going to get to why they call me that. But what's more important is, man, years ago, ever since we was growing up, I always had a dream of wanting to be a millionaire. How many of y'all remember Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? Yeah, right. And watch this. How many of y'all remember Good Times?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good times really wasn't good times. You know what I'm saying? It was more like bad times. But I remember seeing Lifestyles of Rich and Famous where it seemed like they was always smiling. It just seemed like it was a good life. Like everybody was happy. The father would come home and the kids would just see him and they would just be smiling, and everybody looked like they was dressed well, smelling good, house looked good. But then I'd be watching Good Times, and that was based in Chicago, where I'm from. It just seemed like they would always get to the front door of opportunity. And then it would be, you knew every time you turned on Good Times, it was going to end with something not happening, right? It was just always something. And they just got used to that kind of life. They got used to not, making it. And so I remember telling it's crazy, my brother's in the back of the room. My dad was a Chicago police officer. He did it 27 years. And I remember it was one day in particular, he lined up I got 2 sisters and my other sister, my little sister, principal here in Texas. And he lined us up. This is a true story, y'all. We need to make a documentary or movie about this.
Yep.
He lined us up, and he started with my oldest sister. And you know, back in the day, we had the camcorders. Remember the big old cameras or whatever? There weren't no cell phones, and he videotaped us. And my oldest sister, Carla, she probably was about 12 years old, or 14 maybe. And he asked her, he said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I'll never forget this. And my sister Carla said, "You know, Dad, I want to be a school teacher." And she was like, "I want to help educate the youth." This is a true story, y'all. Here it is. This is over 45 years later, and my sister is a school teacher. She's exactly what she said she wanted. My brother, who's in the back of the room right here, he asked him, and it's crazy because my brother is named after my dad. And so my dad, when he asked my brother, he was like, you know, "Okay, son, what do you want to be when you grow up?" He's kind of looking at him like, you want to be a police officer like me, right? And my brother, in his fashion, you know, was like, "Yeah, Dad, I want to be a police officer just like you." My brother just retired like 6 months ago from the police department. He was a sergeant with the Illinois State Police. I was next in line because I had a little sister, but I was the bad one that couldn't really get right? I was the one that always get my parents' problems. And so my little sister, he went to her first because he knew I was going to say something foolish. So he went to my little sister. This is a true story. And he asked my little sister, probably about 4 years old, he said, "Christy, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And she said, "Dad, I want to be a school teacher just like my big sister." And my little sister is a principal here in Houston. Everything all of us said that day, it happened. It was my turn. And I'm telling y'all the truth. Like, if you made my dad happy, he would go buy this watermelon or take us to go get ice cream or something like that. And so my siblings, they all looking at me like, "Jamal, just tell Daddy something. Tell him something that's going to make him, you know what I'm saying? Just go get us some ice cream. Like, come on, man, don't be." And I'll never forget, man. And I'm telling you, I think I just got through watching Good Times, and I was mad. And he was like, "All right, son, your big sister want to be a school teacher. Your little sister, your baby sister want to be a teacher. And your brother, he want to be a police officer just like me. What do you want to be when you grow up?" I promise y'all, I looked at my brother. I looked at my sisters. And then I looked at the camera, and I told my dad, "I want to be a millionaire." And to this day, just like my sister's a teacher, my brother's a police officer, my little sister's a principal, I have become a multi-millionaire by knowing what it is that I wanted, by declaring it, by speaking it to existence. But the thing was, I wasn't exposed to millionaires. So I had the idea of what I wanted my life to look like, but I didn't have the plan to how I would get it. So like most of us, and watch this, how many of y'all play sports? How many of y'all thought y'all was gonna make it to the league? What's so crazy is that we all grew up thinking that we're gonna make it to the NBA, the NFL. Look, I just spoke at a school, man, high schoolers, and there was this one kid, I promise you, I asked him, "What are you gonna be when you grow up?" And this one kid said, "I wanna make it to the NBA." The kid, I promise you, he's probably like 4'2", didn't even make the high school basketball team. But in his mind, he was like, "I'm going to make it to the NBA." And that was crazy because I knew exactly what he was talking about because, I did play football, and I ended up playing college football, trying to make it to the NFL. The reason why I wanted to make it to the NFL is because I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted to give my family this life. And for me, being a millionaire, like, it meant being able to take care of my family, you know, the way how I saw fit. Most of us, we take care of our families the way that we can afford to take care of them, right? If you just look, the house you live in, it's because of how much money you make. And so because you make X amount of dollars, you're able to live in this community. The car you drive, because you make X amount of dollars, you're able to afford this kind of car. Even to the food you eat or the medical care that you get. It's all connected, directly tied to how much your paycheck is. So I wanted to live this life, and what ended up happening, I didn't make it to the NFL. I got to the front door. I'm talking about I got to the door. I was all conference. I was a team captain. I was right there. And I remember looking and telling my parents, like, "Yo, I'm gonna make it to the NFL and I'm gonna retire y'all." My mother worked at a jail. She was a Cook County sheriff. My mother, the sweetest lady you could ever meet, was a jail guard. And I remember picking her up when she retired. I remember picking my mother up from the jail when she retired, and she came out to the car, and I remember she just like exhaled and cried. And I was like, man, Ma, you all right? I was like, why are you crying? And she said, I feel like I just completed a 20-year sentence. Think about that kind of mindset. So I always said that, you know, I would be the one that would be different and be able to give my family. And the police department was a great job, but I just wanted to give my family more. You know, give them the things in life that the police department couldn't give them. And so when I didn't make it to the NFL, surprisingly, I became a police officer. I became a police officer just like my mom, just like my dad, just like my brother, and then my sister. Before she was a school teacher, she was actually a dispatcher. She'd be the one to give us our calls. So we like to say that was the family business that we were in. And I remember just, it was a call that I had. Like this call changed my life. And I like to call this the wake-up call. I probably was only on the job for 2 months. It was actually August the 18th, 2000. We got a call of curfew violators. And I remember my partner and I, we were in Chicago on the south side, we were working midnights. And we seen like 6 kids outside. And we were like, okay, we're just gonna take these kids home. And I remember going up to one of the kids in particular, and as I went up to this kid to just go pat him down because we was gonna put him in the car and take him home, the kid pushed me and he took off and run. He just took off and ran. Now, you know, just remember, y'all, I just was training for the NFL draft. So I was in the best shape of my life. I was like, so I literally chased that kid and he ran between 2 buildings. And when he jumped on this fence, it had barbed wire at the top of the fence. And as I went to go pull him down from the fence, the kid reached in his waistband and he pulled out a gun and pointed it right in my head. By the grace of God, he pulled the trigger and I actually grabbed the gun. And as I'm holding the gun, he's just pulling the trigger and the bullets are just flying. And I'm struggling, fighting for my life with the gun. And of course I survived, you know, and the kid actually fell on the other side of the fence and he got away. But I called that call, I always said that call was the wake-up call that I had in my life, because at that time, I never really truly experienced life to the fullest. Like all of us are living right now, we all breathing, but there is a difference. There are people that's living a different kind of way. And the thing that I recognized being a police officer and working with other, you know, blue collar, just good people, is that we are some of the strongest, dedicated, committed, hardest working people around. But we are not getting the full experience of life. And so when I got back from that call, I visited a friend a man who was a college teammate. He was playing in the NFL, and that was the first time I got a chance to really touch the dream. That was the first time I really got a chance to see what real money looked like. Because my friend who played football with me in college, he was poor just like all of us, but he went and signed like a $30 million contract. And I got a chance to see how the other side lived. And that was my first time seeing Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous in person. I came back home to Chicago and I said, I have to do something different. I said, if I don't do anything different, my life is going to be exactly how my parents didn't my mother did not go to that jail every day for me to do the same thing that she was doing for the next 30 years of my life. So that was the time, that wake-up call in my life. I had to make a conscious decision on what it is that I want my life to look like and how am I going to do it. That's when I came back to Chicago, and I literally had a friend who had an uncle who was a real estate developer, and I saw how he was living, and I said, wow, like he didn't play football, he didn't play basketball, he was just a regular guy who was living a phenomenal life. And I said, I want to do that. And so then that's when I started to invest in real estate. But before I invested in real estate, I literally, and everybody in here can do this. How many of you all know how much it costs to be you? Like, we about to really have some talk. How many of y'all know how much does it cost to be you? But now watch this. I saw about 3 hands. How many of you all know how much money you make every month? All right, so everybody's aware on how much money you bring in, but you're not aware of how much money you spend to live your lifestyle. So what I end up doing, I wrote down, the first thing I did, I wrote down how much does it cost to be me? And I created this amount, because I said if I ever get killed, if anything ever happens to me, I want to make sure that I passively have enough income to come in and take care of my family. I wrote down that I was going to buy a building for every single bill that I have. I said that I was going to, every bill that I have, whether it's a phone bill, a car note, it's our house note, it's travel expenses. There's a property that can cover that expense. So here it is, I was only making $36,000 a year as a police officer, and I knew what kind of lifestyle $36,000 was going to give me. So when I looked at real estate, I can literally have anything in this world that I want. There's one building that could cover any expense to anything in life that I want. So at that time, I went and not only did I create how much did it cost to be me currently, I created how much does the future life that I dream of cost. Imagine that. If all of you all, how many of you all are literally living in your dream house right now? Raise your hand. All right, we got about 1 or 2 hands in here. So what if I told you that your dream house, if I told you to go out and find out what type of house you want to live in? Like literally, as I was driving, I saw nothing but mansions. Imagine if you went and said, that's my dream house. I want a house just like that. And if you went and actually found out how much that house costs monthly for you to get. And then what if I was able to show you 2 properties that you can purchase, renovate, cash flow, and those 2 properties now will cover the expense of your dream house. That means you're literally 2 properties away from living in the house that you want to live in. What if I told you that you can travel 3 times out the country to any place you want to go to? That there's only 2 properties that's stopping you from traveling anywhere in the world. Like what kind of mindset would that be for you? That will allow you to have anything and everything that you want in life. And that's exactly what I teach people. I teach people to create. Don't live the life that your job affords you. Like live the life that you dream of. And what I come to realize is that most people don't live the life that most people haven't even dreamed. Yeah. If you just think about it, and I get so passionate about this because whatever it is I want in life, I learned the secret to know how to go and get it. And I got this thing, so Ashley was talking about making real estate real, but I also have another program that I have. It's called One Property Away. Like literally, I teach people that you are literally 1 property away. I was able to, my wife, this is a true story, y'all. When we got married, literally we were on a cruise ship on our honeymoon, and I never forget, I asked my wife, I said, man, as your husband now, if there's anything I can do for you, what would it be? What do you want? And my wife looked at me and she's like, I don't want to work anymore. And I was like, wow. I thought you was gonna say a car. You don't want to work? Like you're 21 years old. And I said, you know what? She said, the reason why I don't work, she's like, it's something special about you. And she said, I want to support that. And I want to be there and be available for you. And I said, you know what? Cool. She was a manager at Enterprise rental car. And at that time, back in 2000, she was making like $3,000 every month. She's $1,500 every 2 weeks. I literally went and got 1 building. My first property ever, I dedicated it to my wife and said, this money is going to replace your income. And here it is. We've been married 23 years. And we've been married 23 years. And she has not worked a job. We've created businesses together that created millions of dollars. And so that 1 property literally probably added so many years to my wife's life just by not being able to, by replacing her job. And so, yeah,
So, Ma, and I want you, because I know you, there's things he may not share, and that's, but talk to them about, I think it's important, like your lifestyle, some of the things that your family is able to experience as a result of you making those sacrifices and setting Maul, it's important that, because Maul literally doesn't see boundaries or limits. Like that's one of the things we have in common. is that it doesn't matter. Like, he just doesn't see boundaries. And so, in fact, I'll share an example. I won't share too much detail, but Maul and I were talking the other day, and his middle child is about to go off to college in a year. And Maul is like, Flynn, hey, bro, I'll write the check for all 4 years up front. This is my daughter's favorite school. This is where she wants to go. I don't need their money. So, hey, because I have a background helping with scholarships and all of that stuff. So we were talking through her essays and all of that stuff. And Ma was like, bro, we good. Like, I knew this day was coming. So I set the family up to where if I had to, I can write the check for all 4 years up front. And this is, we talking about $70,000 a year for his baby to go to this school, right? Talk a little bit about that, man, because I think it's important if you can lean in more. You said it, but I want you to lean in more on when you or the kids have a dream, there is no not going after it. Yeah. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, and so it's just the way how, and it's not just how I live my life, but it's how I expose my children also. Like, my kids don't see any boundaries on anything. Even like my 9-year-old son, like, he's really, like, he's been exposed to a whole nother level. He literally really believes and speak those things that are not as though they are. Like, I mean, he walked past a property, a build, anything, and he'll be like, yeah, Daddy, you gonna buy that? And I'm like, wait a minute now, son. Maybe you, but yeah. But yeah, so, and it's not just what I was saying for my children, my family. This is what I was just wanting to press upon you all here. It's like, you really, really, like, they have messed our minds up to believe that we can't get something, or we can't afford something, or we're not worthy for something. And what I have shown my children, shown my wife, and I show other people that's connected, that you really can get it. You can set it up. So the reason why I was able to say I'll pay my daughter's tuition up front for the next 4 years is because when I created that future cost of me, I factored in my children. My other daughter is in school right now. Her tuition is $65,000 a year. And we did the same thing. We paid hers off. And then now in college, she decided to go to medical school. And so I got to flip a couple more properties. But just think about it, though. This is generational. You're setting your children up on a whole nother level. Like, my kids have no debt. They have no... they're able to drive different cars. They're able to travel the world. My daughter graduating from school this December, and we have a 4-unit building on her. We're waiting on her. Like, her graduation gift is now you have your own 4-unit building.
That's good.
Yeah. So we use real estate in all different kind of ways by setting it up. Also, each one of my kids have their own Roth IRAs. My son is 9 years old, and he's had a Roth IRA ever since he was 6 years old. And it's maxed out, but it's from real estate because we put them on part of the business with real estate. So yeah, so it's about creating that future cost. And then when you create that future lifestyle, and then you attach properties to cover all of that, eventually your future becomes your present.
Now, Maul, this is one thing, again, I feel we like that faith thing. So to tell y'all how crazy his faith is, I mean, his faith is crazy. And I know time-wise, you wouldn't have time to tell the whole story, but so I'm going to steal a little thunder and tell the story quickly, but then I'm piggybacking it on something I want you to speak to. So Jamal, his third child is his son, and I think it was a 7-year journey.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. Maul told his wife, we're going to have a son. And for 7 years, Maul literally built a urinal in a bedroom, set the room up and put a urinal in the bedroom and said, it's happening, we're going to have a son.
It's crazy how you talking about it now, and it sound, but everybody thought I was crazy at the time.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah, no, and I'm like, just how aggressive he is with his faith. Like, I'm going after this thing no matter what, right? So with that, we can be considered crazy, right? As you were considered crazy. Mm-hmm. How do you bring it down? And so here's the question. For people in the room who are like, man, their faith isn't like that, Maul. They're here, and honestly, they're on the fence. They're here, and they want to add commas, but do they really? So help them, nudge them over the edge to what it's going to take for them to actually, when they leave out of here, walk differently, move differently, and go after the things that they want.
Yeah, I always, like the Bible say, create the vision and make it plain. How many of y'all got a vision? Like, I believe they do have that faith though, right? Because when you look at it, faith is what? It's the substance of things hoped for. How many of y'all hoping for something? And you don't have to be a millionaire, right? Let's just get that. Listen, I did want to be a millionaire, but on the journey to becoming a millionaire, I could have stopped because there was so many things that I was able to accomplish in my life that blessed me. But faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of things not seen. Yeah, come on. So it's the substance of things hoped for. I think a lot of us, what we do, we make the mistake of putting our substance in a thing, right? As opposed into faith. When faith is the substance, if you look at it, you want to buy coffee. How many of y'all drank y'all coffee this morning? Do you not realize that only 2% of what you was drinking was the actual coffee? 98% of it was water. So the substance of your coffee is water. But yet we go straight towards the coffee. In that same kind of way, when it comes to faith, the thing that you're hoping for is not the actual gift. The gift is the actual faith, the believing part. That's the substance of the thing that you're actually hoping for. So just flip it around, right? Like a lot of us think that we're not worthy. Like we're going to leave out of here and some of y'all are going to be like, I can't do this. I can't do real estate. I can't, I heard other people do it, but I can't. I'm sitting here telling y'all you can. I have trained and taught thousands of people. I get emotional with it because I'm actually y'all. I worked the job. I stayed a police officer for 20 years. I didn't quit. I started the police department at the age of 22. I became a millionaire at the age of 26. I became a millionaire on mistake. I didn't even know I was a millionaire. I walked into a bank to go get a loan for our first daycare center, and the lender had to do he had to get our whole portfolio, he had to get all of this balance sheet. And I was in literally my police uniform, and I was at the bank, and he looked at the paper, and then he looked up at me. He looked back down, and every time I used to come into the bank, he used to always call me Officer King, Officer King, Officer King. That was the last time he called me Officer King, and the first time he called me Mr. King. And he said, Mr. King. He said, Mr. King. He said, you're a millionaire. And y'all think about it. I've been wanting to be a millionaire since I was 8 years old. And when he told me I was a millionaire, I promise y'all, I looked in my clothes and I was like, I was dirty. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah. He said, Mr. King, you got a net worth of $1.8 million. And I was like, how did you figure that out? I said, I didn't even know, y'all. I was like, how did you do that? He said, well, I took all your assets and I subtracted them from your liabilities from your assets, and that ended up being what your net worth is. And then I said, okay, so if I just buy more properties with equity in it, and that goes towards my net worth? And he said, yes. I went from having that $1.8 million net worth at the age of 26 to having like a 6.5 net worth by the age of 28. And then I ended up getting my net worth up to, by the time I was 35, it was close to almost 30 million. But it's just by knowing. And I'm telling you all, when Anthony was talking, when Flynn was saying that, what you say, 90% of people here are smarter than you, and it's only you smarter than 10%. I was one of the 10% of people that's left that you're smarter than. I'm telling y'all, I'm not that like smart with certain things, but I'm sitting here telling y'all, how did I do this? Over the time as being a police officer, I have purchased over 400 doors, all while working a 9 to 5. I'm telling you, you can do this. It's certain things in life that you can't do. I'm not that type of person that's optimistic. Like, I would never tell Gersh she can make it to the NBA. Gersh, you can't make it, dog. You know what I'm saying? But you can do real estate. And the reason why I said you can do real estate is because you all are doing it right now. Everybody in this room is in real estate. Watch this. How many people own their own house? Raise your hand. How many people rent? Raise your hand. How many people lease? Raise your hand. That's what I'm saying. Everybody is in real estate already. What I just try to show people and teach people is how to get to this side of the cash register. Every first of the month, somebody paying rent and somebody's receiving rent. And I'm telling you, this is the one thing that you can do. And also, not just real estate, but just business. There's a scripture that changed my life. Ecclesiastes 11:6. Please remember this one. I got it everywhere in my house. It says, sow your seed in the morning, but in the evening, let not your hands be idle. For you don't know which will succeed, whether it's this, whether it's that, or whether they all do equally well. That scripture is teaching you about having multiple streams of income. Sow your seed in the morning. That means when you break down the definition of sowing, that means scatter your seed in different places. The reason why some of you all are feeling the stress of life, the reason why you're feeling these financial crunches is because you only are receiving one income. So when the government get on TV and they're talking about shutting down, and they're talking about eliminating this, and they're talking about interest rates, and they're talking about inflation, they're talking about all these things, it's because you only got that one stream. I would be scared too. But when you got real estate over here, when you got your 9 to 5 over here, when you got your business over here, you know, all I did, and I'm going to tell y'all, and please somebody write this one down. All I did was follow. I once read that every millionaire has at least 7 streams of income. Yep. How many of y'all know what those 7 streams of income are? All right, I need 7. All right, you think about it. See, I told Anthony I wasn't going to stand up.
That's all I got. He was waiting on it. That's all I was like, just give me the state.
So look, 7 streams of income. The first stream, yeah, and if y'all write this down. Earned income. How many of you all got a job? So you already got that stream of income out the way. Your job, keep your job. Your job is going to be your first investor. With the police department, that was my first investment. I was making $36,000 a year. I needed to have paychecks in order to get approved for my down payment for my first real estate purchase. Second stream of income is rental income. So I was receiving money from my 9 to 5. That was $1,200 every 2 weeks, and that's the lowest stream of income that I have. And then I took that money and I did what Ecclesiastes 11:6 is. Sow your seed in the morning, and in the evening, let not your hands be idle, because you don't know which one will succeed. So I went and I took this earned income I was getting from the police department and I put it as down payment for my rental income. So now and then I started receiving, after my first 2 properties, I started receiving $6,000 net income. I was receiving $1,200 every 2 weeks as a police officer, but from my rental income, I was netting over almost $7,000 a month. And then I said, okay, what's the next stream of income? Interest income. So the money that I was receiving from the police department, from the police and from my rental, I would put it in a bank. And I had a high yielding interest account, and so I was receiving 4% interest on my money. So now I got 3 streams of income. And then all of a sudden now, all right, what's the next income? The fourth one is dividend income. So then I take money from my bank account and from my rental properties, and then I went to Charles Schwab, and then I got a stock account. And then I started building my portfolio. I started getting mutual funds, and I started buying different stocks. One of the first stocks I bought, my brother could tell you, was Krispy Kreme donuts. I knew police officers love donuts. So I knew the police was going to at least make that stock go up. And it actually split about 4 times. And then so here it is. I'm 22, 23 years old. I got income coming in from the police department, earned income. I got income coming in from my rental properties, rental income. I got income coming in from my bank account, interest income. I got income coming in from my stock portfolio, dividend income. And then all of a sudden, I said, what's the next one? Business income. So then we took the money that we were getting And then we put it into a chain of daycare centers. My wife and I didn't know nothing about daycares, but we had kids, and everybody that was our age group was having babies at the time. I promise you. So then I went and we bought a church and turned that church into a daycare center. I'm telling you, the first kids in our daycare center was my baby and my brother's baby that's in the back, and he wasn't paying us no money. So we weren't making no money. We didn't have a clue. I promise y'all, I'm telling y'all some real stuff. But I was just like, it says that business income is one of the streams of income. We literally built this facility with 2 kids. Within 60 days, we had over 100 kids.
Wow.
And we were making over $100,000 a month. I'm a police officer making $1,200 every 2 weeks. And now we got this business making us $100,000 a month. We would net $50,000 a month from that. So now how many is that? How many is that? 5?
5.
That's 5. Now we got money coming in from this business. We got money coming. I'm still a police officer. We got money coming in from the police. We got money coming in from the stock account. We got money coming in from the bank. We got money coming in. And then I said, okay, cool. What's the next stream? Stream number 6, capital gains. Capital gains. What is capital gains? So I read about capital gains. If I buy properties now, instead of renting them out, I'm going to fix them up, and then I'm going to sell them at a profit. So then I started to flip properties. I flipped so many properties. Now on the average, y'all, I'm telling you the truth, I flip at least minimum 10 properties a year. And I've been doing this for the last 24 years. And I make $100,000 net profit on each property. So I started a whole nother $1 million business with that, just following that stream of income. And then the last stream of income is called royalty income. Royalty income, creating this logo, you see JK, this has value, creating 9 to 5 millionaire. I have a book. I have a podcast, one of the top podcasters in the world with Eric Thomas, Secret to Success podcast. I have the top real estate program in the world. And the reason why I say it's one of the top is because it teaches everyday blue collar 9 to 5 people, good people. It teaches them how to create another stream of income outside of their job. Most people, if you look on the internet, most people will be like, if you want to make it in life, you got to quit your job and have a leap of faith. I'll be like, no, heck no. I'll be like, hell no, you need to keep that job. All my fellas out here, listen. You come home telling your wife, baby, I just quit my job. And they said, if I want to make it in life, she's going to be like, yeah, okay. You need to go back to that. And so I'm the opposite. I teach people, you can still keep your job and still do all of these other things. I just gave y'all 7 streams of income, and I'm going to tell y'all this. When you get really good at it, I want you to go home. This is your homework assignment. If I can leave anything with y'all, them 7 streams I just gave you, just go home and literally just sit back and brainstorm and say, how can I create income in each stream? It don't have to be millions. Just say, if somebody paying you willing to give you $1, if you're able to make $1 off of whatever stream it is, you're winning. And then people like Anthony Flynn is going to teach you how to 10x that. And so all I needed to do was get evidence that I can just make a little bit in that stream. And then now, I'm going to tell y'all, my streams got streams.
Yeah.
Think about that. The rental income, I got hundreds of units. So I'm making multiple out of that. The daycare centers, we got a chain of daycare centers. And so we're making money with that. We got, even when it comes to the royalty income, we got multiple different brands and I got books that I got. I forgot, I got another book about to come out. So when you really get good at it, just try when you leave here. Like if you take away nothing else, literally figure out how can you make money. Everybody got a gift. It's something, I'm not that special. Everybody got a gift. The only difference is I know what my gift is. Like find out what your gift is and people will pay you. I promise you, man. I get money all the time, and he can tell you, I turned down money. I've been to London right now. They was trying to pay me, I think I got about $30,000 or $40,000 to speak for about 35 minutes. But no, I wanted to come here because this is these people, y'all, y'all and me, this is family. This is the type of audience that I like to speak in front of, because I know what you're going through. I know you're the people that's in this room, you like right there. You want more. You want more, but you kind of like, yo, I don't trust people. Trust me. Listen.
Me too.
Yeah, you don't trust people, and you shouldn't trust everybody. I'm gonna tell you, the type of people we are, we worked hard to get what we have. We can't take an L. We can't afford to take a loss. Like, we have to be in a position where, like, look, this is all we got. Yeah. But I'm sitting there telling you, you're supposed to do like the Bible says, you have to plant your seeds. You can't just hold your seed in your hand, because it will not grow if it's in your hand. In order for your seed to grow, it's gotta be in good soil. And so if anything else, when y'all leave here, man, just figure out exactly what streams of income, like literally just write down those 7 streams and then just think about it. You already got, everybody here got a job, so you already got earned income out the way. Look into the next one, and then execute on it and get you a good coach to help you execute.
Man, mic drop. So, Maul, I'm going to bring Damon up. He's going to actually talk about, obviously you can go find Maul, follow him on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm on LinkedIn all the time, so I leave LinkedIn.
I'm on LinkedIn.
Oh, you are on LinkedIn?
I'm in the team.
Yeah, I know the team, yeah.
Your LinkedIn's behind you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. We got everything behind us, yeah. So make sure you hit up all his sites. Again, what I love about Jamal, there's so much I love about Jamal, but Jamal's course, he could have charged ridiculous amounts of money, but he made it affordable. He like, we share that common thread, right? Maul wanted to make it, he's like, man, I want people who are quote unquote blue collar to be able to actually invest in this, and be able to afford it. So we have an opportunity we can share about if you want to chime in on our side of the house, but also you can go directly to his site, go directly to find him as well. Again, we're not going to hard sell you on anything. Like he said, I understand that trust is an issue. That's why we created the Commerce community. By the way, somehow, I guess I didn't share, because many people came up. You can go to addcommerce.com and actually join for the $29.99 or the $39.99 a month. Because several people came up to me during the break and said, hey, how do I actually get access to the community? But I wanted to, so I knew that was one, trust was an issue, as well as finances, right? So fear, like being afraid to go for it. So we made it low, like $29 a month, $39 to try it out. Like, if you ain't got that, if you want to invest that in yourself, right? So the point, that's why we did it. So you could come in, experience the community, and then from there, make a decision about whether or not you want to stay with us. But any other thing you want to share as we wrap up our time, anything else you want to share in terms of them getting in touch with you, any other offerings you want to share with them before I bring Damon up?
Yeah, no, I'm just, like I said, I appreciate y'all just listening, and I hope that you all really take away, like the same way how I had that wake-up call, maybe this is your wake-up call. Thank God your wake-up call not coming in the form like mine came. Them 16 shots really woke me up. It showed me that I could have lost my life and I really haven't even lived yet. So if you got the question in your head, like, am I worthy of doing this? Some of y'all, but I get this asked to me a lot, am I too old? I get that all the time. Like wealth has no age limit. There's no such thing. My 92-year-old grandma just flipped 2 properties. Seriously. 92 years old. Yeah, 92 years old. She just flipped 2 properties, and she was able to put some money in her great-grandkids' account or whatever. But I'm telling you, you're never too old. You're not too young. It doesn't matter what family you come from. You might have not came from the richest family. Your family might not be millionaires, but there's no reason why millionaires can't come from you.
And I forgot to say too, shoot, I'm a product of mall. I have multiple properties now, and one of my commitments was to buy a property every year on my birthday.
Yeah.
But it was just because just talking to mall, listening to mall, like I wasn't doing that, but I wouldn't even own that before. But after being in proximity to mall is that guy who's like, bro, if you gonna be in proximity to me, you're going to have to have some real estate. Like, you can't be around me and be back to what I was talking about earlier, Ali. Now, you can't be around me and be in my inner circle and not have real estate. Like, that ain't going to work, And so one of my goals is every year, at minimum, to buy a property for my birthday.
I always say your level of exposure determines your level of success. Keep coming out and doing what you're doing, getting around the right kind of people. But be careful, because exposure goes both ways. And so everybody that's connected to me owns real estate. I think the only one person that ain't bought a property yet is Gersh. We working on Gersh.
We bought a trailer park. We got a trailer park.
You do have some properties.
Yes, we do. Family does.
Yeah, he got a family on the family side.
They got a whole trailer. They own a trailer park. But yeah, your level of exposure determines your level of success. So even like with everybody in my circle that's connected to me owns real estate. Everybody. And it's so crazy that since I've been connected with Eric Thomas, now I've become unconsciously a motivational speaker. I was just telling my man back there, I was in Atlanta. How many of y'all heard of InvestFest? Yeah, InvestFest. Y'all, 2 years ago, I literally did the keynote. I was on the main stage, and it was unreal because it was 22,000 people out there. And I don't like saying this guy's name, but Puffy was supposed to spoke, and he was late. And I already had spoke, in front of the VIP night, like 4,000 people. And then they said, hey, Jamal, Puff didn't show up. He in traffic. They was like, man, we need you to come on stage and speak in front of 22,000 people. And I remember just going out there on stage, and I remember just thinking like, man, God, I was just in a squad car. I was just in a squad car 4 years before that. So I literally went from the squad car to the stage, all because of exposure. I've been exposed to the number one motivational speaker in the world, Eric Thomas. I've been exposed to the number one trainer of speakers, CJ. And because I'm in that circle, I have become. So now, what is it that God got for you? But because you're in the wrong circle, it ain't showed itself. If you would have told me when I was around police officers in the squad car that I would one day be on the stage in front of 22,000 people for 30 minutes, delivering a keynote and getting 2 standing ovations, I would have been like, man, you lying. Why? Because I couldn't see it. Why couldn't I see it? Because I was surrounded around the police officers. So even if you got to pay for it, get surrounded around a different group of people. That right there, it will bring out what God got inside of you. So, like they say, what is it? If you're, out of all your friends, if you're doing the best, then you don't have a circle, you got a cage.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave y'all with that.
Yeah, mic drop. It's funny too, I'll say, man, thank you so much, brother. Love you, man. Appreciate you. And we're going to hang around for a little bit afterwards. We're about to wrap this bad boy up. We took y'all over a few. But even, it's funny because now you just triggered something for me, Maul. I remember when I first heard about E and the podcast, my wife is, I'm pointing because my wife is sitting out there. And I told my wife, I was literally just heard the podcast. I'm like, we're going to be connected. And she, of course, is like, huh? I said, no, I'm telling you, I heard this guy, Eric Thomas, somebody told me, like, we're going to be connected. Little did I know, I'm an executive coach. I was able to become E's business coach, which is how we met, right? So the point is, like, Maul's point, like we draw each other, like go figure, like I'm a better speaker because I've been around E, and then I became E's business coach because that's what I bring to the table. I know how to grow and scale a business, and so it's fascinating how we find each other. But I'm gonna bring Damon up to wrap us up, you all, and again, Maul and I, you are gonna be able to stick, okay, he's gonna stick around for a little bit, I'm gonna stick around for a little bit, and yeah, and so Damon can tell you how you can get more plugged into the community. Let's give it up for Maul, y'all. Anything else? Okay. You gonna say something else? Okay, all right. And both of us will be here. Yeah.